I don't have any bills now. I bought this little shed for $8,000. I made it into a house. Check out the inside. It's not finished just yet. The house is completely off grid, so electricity comes only from these solar panels. But now I have no electric bill. Here's the batteries that run the house. But I'm in the sticks, and no water lines run this far out. So I have this big water tank. It gets rainwater from my roof. Now I have no bills. The electric's free, the water's free, and my house is paid for.
Hey, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Poppa Dozier, CampaignSG, man. I'm back with another video, man. Shout out everybody out there rocking with me, supporting me, man. All my campers out there, man. Know y'all just seen that little clip in the beginning of the video, man. That's what I be talking about, man. Like, this shit be real, man. It's, you know, I like when I watch these type of videos, you know, because it just show me like a different outlook. Like, people really out here doing this type of shit. You feel me? To not have bills, to not be dealing with all the shit that everybody, you know, that everybody got to deal with as far as inflation and how expensive stuff is out here. You know, it's people out here who going to the extreme and they really telling themselves that I don't want to deal with this shit, and they not just saying that, or they not just complaining about what's going on. They actually taking action and doing something about it. You feel me? But you know, the other day, probably a few weeks ago, me and my dog, we kind of had a little debate. You feel me? We was on the phone, and he basically was just talking about how, you know, how expensive it is and how corrupt a lot of shit is out here in the world and stuff like that. And I was just telling him, like, man, I seen a video of people moving to the woods and really not dealing with all the stuff that we dealing with. You feel me? Which, I'm gonna say this, I'm not willing to do that. Well, and as of now, you feel me? You never know where life will take you, but I'm not willing to do that. But what I was trying to get him to understand is it's people doing that. So if this really a problem, like in your head, if this really a problem, like, man, I don't want to be part of all this bullshit that's going on. You know, obviously you still gotta follow certain rules. You still need money to survive, but you know, come up with a plan and go. You seen the beginning of the video. It's people really doing this shit. Now I'm pretty sure to do that, it's a whole process. It's not cheap or whatever the case is. But just think about when they do that and then they go off the grid and however all the shit he had going on with the for the electricity and the water. But think about how much money he gonna save, you know. But then it's like, I know it costs a lot to get all that done too. But when I be watching them type of videos, it just opened my eyes. Like, man, everybody not willing to put up with the shit that go on out here. Inflation, rent so expensive, it's expensive for gas, everything just costs a lot. Everybody not willing to just, it's gonna be people out there who do some crazy shit, who go to the extreme, just like the people who live out their cars. You got people who building sheds, and you got people who, you know, just all that shit, man. And I can't do nothing but respect this shit. But yeah, man, I'm watching this though, and I'm watching little content like that, cause now it's in my algorithm. So now that type of content be popping up, cause I guess the algorithm see that I took an interest in that type of content, and it just be good to see that, you know, because I know I title my videos a certain way, but I don't get on here and complain. Not one video I got on here and really got on here and complain about what's going on, because that's not who I am in real life. But that's all you really see nowadays. And some people, you know, they got a reason to. Like, I ain't knocking the people who is, but it's like, complaining not gonna do nothing for us. But then at the same time, I be thinking, like, some of the people who getting on here complaining, if they smart, they capitalizing off of it. So I could respect that too. So you might look at it like they on here whining and crying. Like, I don't know how TikTok work, but some of these people TikToks be going super viral, you feel me? And I don't know how they benefit from it, but you know, like, but it's opportunity out here to do other shit, because you could get on the internet and complain about how expensive and what's going on, and you done leverage that into a whole stream of income, you know. So when y'all be watching this content, don't just be quick to think, oh, everybody out here complaining and stuff, because some of these people trying to do this and capitalize off of it, you feel me? But yeah, man, moving off the grid. And you know it's crazy, like some years ago, my people was talking about like moving somewhere down here, like not really moving off the grid, but buying land and living off of it. And I don't really know how that works. I ain't do too much research into that, which I do need to do that. But they was talking about like getting I don't know if it was like a trailer home or something like that, and like buying land in one of these areas in Florida that's not really like so crowded, and just living off the land and stuff, you feel me? And people really do this type of shit, you know. A lot of people gonna talk about it become an idea, you know, but people not willing to really go out their way and make that and take that step, because that's a big step, you know. Like especially somebody like me who used to the city life, you feel me? Now I like being peaceful, you know, that's why I live so far out. I ain't just where I grew up at, but I still gotta be close enough to drive. And people really doing this shit, man, and I get a lot of comments on these type of videos of people who actually watch my videos talking about how they lived in a car before. Like, I'm talking about living in a car, how they you got some people, to be honest, you got some people, man, who done hit rock bottom. I probably need to make a video about this, because you got people who done hit rock bottom and they went to homeless shelters, you feel me? Even though when you do that type of stuff, you get help from the government, but that's how I really get out here sometimes. You know, everybody ain't got it all made where they just, I don't know, everybody, you know, some people gotta go, cause when sometimes you feel like you doing so bad when you're not even realizing, bro, there's people doing way worse than you. You got some people who is homeless, who probably ain't got no car to live off out of, who probably ain't got enough money to build all this stuff to go live in the woods. And they'll go to a homeless shelter and stay there for a few years. And just think about it. You go there, I don't know if that costs, I don't know how that works or nothing, but I just be thinking about the positive. Like, yeah, you might have to, you go through extreme living conditions, and yeah, that shit, you know, God forbid, I don't ever want to even, you feel me? But just think about somebody who really in that position, who really just got the right mindset. They probably still work their job or whatever the case, and now they using that shit and really change their whole life around. I be respecting that type of shit, man, because, you know, it's real out here. This shit ain't no game out here, you feel me? You gotta make shit happen by any means. You know, that's the type of person I am. That's the type of person you should be. You know, whatever happen, you work a job, they let you go, on to the next. You know, you gotta make shit happen, you feel me? Like, it ain't no time, it's too expensive to be out here crying and asking somebody for something. You gotta just get out here and really make shit happen, you feel me? Especially if you a man. You know, like, as a man, I feel like we gotta really go 10 times as hard, because you know it's a little different between us and women. But yeah, man, moving off the grid, you know, no bills. Like, just imagine life without no bills, as far as like rent, water, electricity. Like, just imagine if you ain't had to pay all these different bills, man. What you could do with all that money that you spending towards bills. How, you know, you might have somebody make $60,000 a year, and then they bills probably come up to $40,000 a year or $35,000 a year. So now they only made $20,000 to $25,000 throughout that year, which still a good chunk of money to do something with. But you still gotta live. But just imagine if you ain't have to spend all this extra money on rent and all these miscellaneous bills and shit, even little shit like Netflix and Apple Music and all that, and you just had all that money and you probably saved it for 12 months. Now you got a lump sum, $20,000. There's people out here who ain't never see $20,000 in their life, you feel me? So just imagine if you had that opportunity. It's like you could do a lot of shit with that. You got people out here who changed their life with $20,000. You got people out here who changed their life with income tax. Every income tax is somebody gonna do something important with them taxes. You feel me? Especially if they getting a big amount and they been preparing themselves, you know. So yeah, man, I be looking at this type of shit, and I just be respecting it, man, saluting it. Like, you know, people doing what they gotta do, you feel me? And you will have some people looking at, and then you can't be looking at these people and feel like, oh, they did it, but I can't do it. because they probably had a three-year plan to make this happen, you know. So that go back to my last video. We gotta like plan shit and execute it. You know, nothing just gonna happen as soon as it become an idea. I'm tired of paying bills and all this, so let me just go try to, you know, you can't just up and jump and do shit like that. You gotta map it out. Be strategic about it. Treat this shit like a real business, you know, business plan. Even if it ain't nothing related to business, treat yourself like a business and map this shit out. But that's just my opinion, man. Like, you know, anything possible, you know, because that person who finna live in the woods and go off the grid and all that, ain't no telling what they could be at in a few years, because they done got ahead, because they put themselves in position to get ahead. It wasn't easy for them. You know, it ain't gonna be easy for nobody who really getting ahead. Nobody, this shit just don't happen like that. Nobody don't get to where they get to by mistake. You feel me? I mean, you got exceptions. You got a few people, you feel me, like who just, they situation just good, like somebody like Bronny James or some shit. You know, shout out to him though, but you know, it ain't his fault that his daddy LeBron James. But in a lot of scenarios, and then, you know, like I said on that video, become that person. You know, don't, you know, I want to become that person, so I don't want to make it easy on my kids, but you know, I don't want my kids to have to go through what I went through. Just like my mama ain't want me to have to go through what she went through, but she did the best she can. You feel me? But yeah, man, like, this shit real though, man. Everybody ain't willing to just sit here and struggle and die, just struggle the rest of their life. Everybody not willing to do that, you know. Some people gonna go to the extreme to make this shit work. You feel me? Like, even if you gotta, you know, some people not even willing to move to another state that's real cheap, like one of these like cheap states. But I don't know, because if you move somewhere like that, I don't know how the pay is and everything. But you got some states where you could get, like, let's say somewhere like St. Louis. Not saying St. Louis, because I know that shit kind of treacherous out there, you know, but somewhere where you can still be safe. But like my cousin, he stay in Nebraska. I know it's safer out there, like where he at. Like, he in a good little spot. Omaha, he in a good spot. I think cuz only pay like $8 something for a 1-bedroom. And then he got a decent job that's still paying him $19, $20 an hour. So if you come down here and make $19, $20 an hour, you ain't finna be able to afford no apartment, especially if you living on your own. But with cuz that, he able to do that type of shit. So some people not willing to do that, you know. And I salute cuz all the time, because you moved from Miami to Omaha, even though you had family out there. But when he did that about 4-5 years ago, I was looking like, I ain't willing to do no shit like that. But as we get older, I'm proud of that boy, because I'm seeing, you know, people got to do this type of shit. You feel me? Leo State, Leo City, to get ahead. I be liking that type of shit. I take interest in it, you know. I ain't about to do it, but I still, like, you know, I still take interest in what people do to get ahead, because that kind of infatuates me, just seeing people changing their scenario, changing their situation, bettering themselves. Like, I love that type of shit, you know, and I love doing it for myself too. But yeah, man, Poppa Dozier, CampaignSG, man. Y'all keep rocking with me, man. I'm gone.